Hey everybody, welcome back. It is I, Dr. Bosky, and today we are taking a look at some of the concepting that we're doing for some cool sci-fi hover tanks, or something in that phase. It's kind of like cyber corpo tanks. We're still just noodling and doing some ideation and some concepts. So, Chris, thank you for turning these around. I definitely like what you got going on here with this kind of big rail cannon thing here. So, just kudos to that. I just want you to know I appreciated that. I also enjoy kind of the second base design with a little bit more of the rotation or the curvature on top. So cool. That was cool too. I'm really enjoying this sort of like the concepts with these sort of rotation wheel, like hover jet things. I think we should explore this more. I'm a sucker for, and it's probably not quite like this, but I'm a sucker for these types of materials as we're kind of developing the Paltech police department cruiser as well. We should take some design cues from those explorations as well. So, and then just honorable mention, I enjoyed the idea and concepts of some of the shapes here. So, especially some of these panels on the side here. I thought that was pretty cool, by the way. So, yeah, thank you for exploring this with me. All right. So, with that being said, I'll post this for you. I also did kind of another little bit of a exploration, concepting, just image stuff. So I thought I would kind of walk you through what I was thinking here. One of the things I like about this particular image is I appreciate that the wheelbase is large. It's almost about, the wheels are basically about the same size as almost that first layer of the tank itself. And then it gives us some room to do with some like suspension, some other bits underneath. So I thought that was interesting. I'm going to come back over here. I think we should explore kind of this, maybe this X VTOL rotatable wheels. Maybe we can do them in multiples. Maybe they can be refined. Think more like like a centipede, maybe something like that. So I thought that was worth kind of pointing out. We should definitely also explore. I really enjoy this idea that these are like these, I don't know, these like knuckle appendages. They're almost crab-like in the way they skitter. Maybe we can take those crab-like idea, like little walker legs, and then also transform them into like wheelbases that like rotate, so you can get some cool like leaping with hover boosting or things like that. So I thought we should explore that. Let's see here, that was that. And here, yeah. So I'm also enjoying this extra shape that we have here on top of the chassis itself here. I'm kind of enjoying where we're at with kind of like this base chassis bit here. So it's a little too boring, but I kind of like the idea of it being stacked and that you can definitely see and feel the differences in stacking here. One other interesting mention here I should probably point out, and I was just noticing this in the detail. It would be probably cool to have a nice like apparatus for like, imagining a turret cannon that can rotate, maybe it's like a hover field, and so it's not connected to the tank, and it's like a full a full range socket, so then it can rotate completely up and maybe backwards, something like that. I don't know, some food for thought. Again, we're just concepting, but I like the idea. Over here, I also want us to explore. I like this idea that we have. It's almost like a mech or a mechanized walker tank. So maybe we could like extend the torso a little bit, put a torso on it in terms of the deck, right? I like this kind of like, I don't know, we have this like weird panel of like lights and stuff like that. Like, again, we need to, things need to be glowy and cool, and these are gonna be enemy types. So these are really drab in terms of color palette, but we should continue to think about our smart materials, our glows, our hover paints, our holographic paints, right? Like for decaling. And again, we're just concepting now, but I want you to kind of put that in mind, right? Big blue glowing jet things, right? For the kind of undercarriage, stuff like that. But yeah, so I thought it was kind of cool to maybe explore some of this shape as well. And then to get that sense of like a torso with like, opposable arms. Still, we could still explore that socket shape as well. Like maybe we'll call them magnetic fields or something like that. I'm kind of a sucker for essentially these like multiple caterpillar styled tracks. It would be cool, I think, if we could, again, like what we're doing with the cruiser, maybe do a version where like maybe we go with 5 tires, and the 2 are kind of like the hover tires, and the back are the 3 in the middle are the hover tires, so they're rotated. They're rotated. What is that? By 90 degrees, and so that they're kind of repulsing. They give us a cool thing where we can then show sort of like, almost like sort of like what we've been exploring with some of the drones and things like that. But in these, the front and back tire arm appendage legs could be cool. So again, don't sweat it too much. We're gonna get there. A classic here. I kind of really like this the shape. It's kind of got this kind of like very like hard edge. It's definitely got kind of this like, they're hover tanks, right? There aren't any jets or anything like that, but I thought that was kind of interesting. And also the fact that from the side, like the fact that that it raises up and then backwards, like it kind of reinforces this weird kind of front, like all the hover technologies here, and it doesn't have to make sense, but it's strong enough to counterbalance the backside. So, and then I think one of the things I liked about this in particular is I really enjoy how the nose of this thing is over in front, kind of hangs out over the front of this. We have this kind of like this really cool, I think, like just verticality again in like the chassis. We've got the multiple wheel things here, right? That's kind of what I was talking about there. So, and I thought that, was kind of interesting to sort of just think about what that could look like. Then over here, like Mass Effect, man, there's some good stuff there. I kind of like that they did this like 3-wheel design here. It's interesting in terms of decaling and the colors. I think it's a little too like normal sci-fi for me, but I thought I would kind of point it in here because it kind of shows how we could play around with the wheelbase and what that's looking like, but also just the structure of this. They have some really cool like supporting like rotation structures here, right? You can see how those kind of travel through the form on the side. I think the cockpit's a little bit too far forward, but the raised cannon's also kind of nice here too, right? Like you got this kind of rotation base here. So just thought, it's appealing to me. I thought I would point that out. So down here again, now talking about this kind of like, maybe they're like legs with that articulate into the wheel / hover base rotators. So that's kind of what I was pointing out here. I kind of really enjoy that aspect of it. Again, we have this kind of raised cannon on top here and this like overall deck, which is kind of interesting. I like that this thing feels like it could be definitely massive. These things should be quite visible from the ground with where we're going to put them. And that, this is just different forms, even though they may not use those in the game completely. Maybe we'll have, jumper tanks. I don't know. We'll have to think about that, but we're not there yet. So, all right. So this guy here. So I kind of enjoy like here are these really cool, like, I don't know, these fields, like, not fields. These are like these, they look like they're like, well, maybe like they're anti-gravity field generators. I like that they're really strong looking, and they look like they can be like adjustable, kind of with the hydraulics themselves. And this is just the whole shtick here with like these kind of pieces that create the hover parts, right? So I thought I would kind of point that out. I kind of like that shape design and some of the thinking there. Interesting concept here. So this triple deck is something I thought we could try. Again, with maybe we're not as fat in the middle, or maybe we have the bottom deck and we have like the more torso for like a mech style thing. But I thought I'd point that out here. Like I really enjoy the you can see these. It's definitely doing multiple functions here. But I thought it's good to take some inspiration from. Here, just a quick little exploration on like what could we do with some giant like this was kind of a neat little kind of cannon. It almost reminds me of like a Gatling gun and a cannon had a baby, which is pretty cool. Another kind of example, like, oh, could be a really cool like giant kind of cannon thing. Again, we have kind of this boxy thing for like what could be missiles or something like that. And then probably one of the biggest things I really want to focus on is, so we have these mandibles. So I want the front of the tank to have these big mandibles, right? Like this thing can like grab stuff. I feel like there could be like an energy field in the middle, like where it can be arcing electricity. Like these things can straight up open their jaws and then clamp on and then drag things around, leap away with them or something like that. So it's just a weird kind of like, I'm fascinated by wanting to explore that. So I thought, like let's put some time into exploring this shape. I think it would be really, really cool. And then this is kind of it's this sort of like kind of like a mandible sort of shape. Not quite, but I kind of found that and I was like, well, this isn't quite what I'm thinking. So that was this here. So, and I think that's it. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to the next set of sketches and turnarounds. I know I just put a lot of stuff into your brain, and I'm very excited to see what comes out. And to everyone else out there, feel free to leave comments and suggestions down below. We read all of those things, of course. And we will see everyone next time.